it's good evening here in the United States, about 5 p.m. and probably about 11 p.m. in Southern Cameroons Ambazonia. I'm coming here again with another breaking news. There are two specific announcements that I will be making about the planning session of La Republique du Cameroun military. This is Fonton Daniel speaking here from the great state of Texas, bringing this breaking news. One of the initial first breaking news is that 300 male of Southern Cameroon within the last 72 hours may have been killed. So many of these within the last 72 hours were male trying to escape or trying to live in the Southern Cameroon because of the lockdown that have been proclaimed. So many of them are escaping to the neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroun. Some are going to Yaounde, Western Province, some are going to Douala. But unfortunately, those who are leaving to Yaounde within the last 72 hours, close to approximately 300 male may have been killed by the neighboring country, La Republique military. They were intentionally taken out of control from the buses that on board from Bamenda to Yaounde and some to Douala. So many of them were taken out of the buses and immediately executed. We don't know the exact locations. The problem is that the bus driver were informed that their names have been taken down and that if there is any information revealed to the general public, they will be accountable for those messages. So their names were written down and their copy of the bordereau. So how can the international community be able to trace out these male that may have been disappeared within the last 72 hours as I'm speaking? If they can be able to trace out the bordereau and those who left Yaounde and start finding out to make sure that they actually arrive in Yaounde or Douala, I think that is one way. But there is indication that they may have tampered with the list of the bordereau. Bordereau is a document pertaining to those names that are being given to the driver who have loaded passengers and traveling to show on their way. So they may have tampered with this original document or the bordereau because they hope that they will be traced out and know how many of them. So this potential male, if you have a male person that left Bamenda within the last 72 hours and heading to Yaounde, Douala, you might want to find out exactly if they are still alive or they have been killed. Because that is the plan that I'm bringing this breaking news. Another second breaking news that I'm bringing this attention is something that is in the plenary sessions. So within the La Republique military, top military officials of the La Republique, including the National Gendarmerie, the police, popularly known as the SED, S-E-D, and the commander of the Presidential Guard, and they had a plenary meeting at 12 midnight, and that meeting was held in Quartier General, but I wasn't able to obtain the exact person's home it was. But anyway, the meeting was held in Quartier General in Yaounde. The purpose of that meeting is to counter out the ghost town in order to force school resumptions. So therefore, since they were not able to come to a conclusive, they finally agreed on one point, that some military men will be dressed like an Ambazonian defense system and they will go to any school that is open. In other words, they will go to any school and make sure that there was a massive execution. Both school that is open, there will be massive execution of any children they found the hope is to draw attention of the international community to acknowledge that because the citizens of Ambazonia has proclaimed that no school resumptions, so therefore they have targeted these particular schools in order to show that they have refused to obey the Ambazonian interim government instructions. So therefore, carry on this massive execution is the right thing that they have planned to do, so that they can draw attention of the international community that the citizens of Ambazonia or the interim government or other Ambazonian officials are actually more of a terrorist organization. And that is why they are planning that if they carry on this massive execution, it will draw a worldwide condemnation from the international community, including United Nations representative that is currently in Southern Cameroon territory. So these plenary sessions that was carried out at Quartier General was led by top military officials, including the police, the gendarmerie, the intervention rapide. And this is why I am bringing this breaking news, and I expect that if you listen to this news, share it as widely as possible and brought the attention of what is going on in Southern Cameroon territory and carried out by the military and the planning session. This is Fundon Daniel speaking live here from the great state of Texas, bringing this breaking news. God bless the citizens of Southern Cameroon. God bless Ambazonia. God bless all of us in this life.